episode number 2.
Hell yeah, dude.
Pasture farm, guys. Let's go. How's everybody?
We're doing good.
Good?
Building in the heat.
Today, right?
Yeah.
Like 6 hours of construction, so it's lively and ready to tackle the world.
We gotta fix that. I'm gonna have Brady fix all those tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because that's not right.
Yeah. We check one thing off the to-do list and 3 more get added to it.
That's where we're at in life.
Yeah.
Alright, so the people really want to know. Okay, let's just dive right into it. How did you guys meet and decide to build a farm together?
Well, there was a back room at Diamond Dolls. Jeff needed to pee. No, don't put that in there.
Jake started. There's a backstory before I even, hopped on board this gravy train. So maybe Jake can say kind of how he started it, and then we can talk about when I came along.
Yeah. I've been eating clean probably since 2010. I was in Afghanistan. I was in a turret in a vehicle called a MATV. Sorry, it was an MRAP. It's like an up-armored Humvee. And I got blown up. My first deployment, probably around this time, 2010. And then after that, I didn't want to put anything in my body that would kill me anything faster than what was going on during my deployment. So I had my mom ship me a bunch of canned vegetables, and look, long story short, that kind of like kicked off the nutrition journey. Then in college, I found out about regenerative farming, and that was probably 2013, 2014. Started ordering all of my vegetables from a regenerative farm and went raw for a while and kind of played around with my diet. Anyway, I kept eating clean, kept shipping in all my food from the Amish. I took a job at a hedge fund down here. After, I suppose I started, I hated it in like the first 3 months. I knew I was going to quit. I was going to try and extract as much money from hedge fund land as humanly possible and start a ranch or start a farm. And then I made it like 3.5, 4 years, and then I just quit and started it anyway. I pretty much just winged it. And then Jeff came along probably a year and some change later.
Yeah, I was sort of not the same start, but I had a similar journey of finding health and nutrition. I served, and I was in Afghanistan too, but after the military, after I got out, I donated half of my liver to my father, and that all went successfully, which was awesome. But I started to find out shortly after that everything I started to intake food-wise, I became very sensitive to. You good? So I started doing a lot of research and discovery on the corruption and basically just the destroyed kind of food system that we've found ourselves in these days. Everything is kind of poisoned and adulterated and corrupted, and so I found my own food journey. Around that time, I started sourcing food from the Amish. I was a part of a Amish food club community. I would basically order food that would be shipped down every 2 weeks on a refrigerated truck, and I quickly started to see the benefits and the health changes. And after that kind of episode, I kind of started doing more research into like trying to find local chemical-free food, because otherwise I'd have to be limited to ordering food and receiving food once every 2 weeks, which was okay. But I wanted something that was more sustainable, in case that fell through. So I started searching for local farms, local markets. I stumbled upon a few within a couple hours driving distance of here and in the Boca area in West Palm Beach. And one day, I don't even remember, honestly, how I found Coastal Pastures, but I saw it with my now wife, who was girlfriend at the time, and we stumbled on the farm, and it was awesome. I met Jake. We started chatting. Probably had a nice chat for like an hour, the initial chat. And at that time, he gave me some resources and some books to kind of read up on and learn a bit more that, I was unfamiliar with. And after that, I started communicating with him more often, trying to learn more, understand more about the whole regenerative farming, besides just the nutrient aspect of the food we consume. So I started coming more often. I started helping out, maybe once a week, and he kind of was in a period where he kind of needed help with this place. This is very labor-intensive work, and he was pretty much solo. So I kind of just hopped on and started helping him out, and then eventually we decided to full send this thing and just go in and try to make this, a big kind of reality and bring what we're sort of bringing now, clean, chemical-free food to this whole local area, which it's lacking. So, yeah.
So my next question is, what do you think is probably one of the biggest risks you guys took starting this?
Everything.
I think I can answer that question. So what are the biggest risks we took starting the farm? Except for putting my entire life savings in it and not knowing if it would work in the beginning, I would say doing it in Palm Beach County is a big risk. Land prices are through the roof. We're currently working on buying this lot, working as hard as humanly possible. I don't think we can work any harder to try and get this place financially sound enough to purchase even a small portion of the Delray farm. That, and then in the beginning we had a lot of county issues, which we resolved, luckily, but it seems like they don't really want clean food either. Luckily they're off our back for now, but I'm sure they're coming. But this time we're a little bit more prepared. Other than that, I don't think there's too much more other than land prices and then county pushback. It seems counterintuitive. You think elected officials in the county would want their constituents to their I don't know what you call it, not a fan base, whatever, people that vote for you, to have access to clean food, and not just only clean food, I mean the cleanest food, which is what we have here at the farm. And it seems like they just don't really care. So that's something to think about for anybody listening. Who we are electing and what interests do they have? Because I'm fully convinced now that they have zero interest in the health of people in their area.
No one does what we kind of decided to do. Most farmers are getting out of this business because it's too difficult. There's not enough money and profit. Their children don't want to be involved in such a labor-intensive occupation. And you're seeing a trend across the country now where farms are disappearing and food is getting turned into factory operations or laboratory experiments or chemical concoctions. And we kind of decided to do the opposite, where, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that love the idea of being a farmer. We get a lot of customers who think they want to be farmers. But I think no one truly understands the amount of work and labor that goes into being responsible for thousands and thousands of lives, you have to be there every day to take care of these animals or they die. There's no vacations. There's no sleeping mornings. If one of us is sick, the other one's taking over for that day. So this is not something most people kind of are interested in these days. Most people are kind of interested in less labor, easier work, and more money, instead of more work, harder labor, and less money. But I think both of us sort of aligned in the fact that we don't deem our success based off of our financial success, but off of overall fulfillment of being able to have a positive impact for ourselves, for our families, for the community. And I think more people are starting to wake up to the fact that clean food is becoming more scarce, and more people are waking up to realizing that they don't know where their food is actually coming from when they go to a grocery store. Those chickens, that produce can be produced on a farm spraying chemicals and hazmat suits. That can be chickens that are abused, animals that are abused. No one knows unless they come to a farm like this, meet their farmers, see the animals, and understand exactly what's happening.
Completely disconnected. So down to the point where if you think about going to a grocery store, some faceless person, like I'm on first name basis with so many customers, and so is Jeff. We are the people that raise and handle and produce your food, and if we don't produce it ourselves, we have gone to the farm to meet the people that have done it. So you are only one step away from any food product in our farm stand here. A single step. So if you think about how many steps from a grocery perspective, there is a faceless person that you don't know their name checking you out. They have no idea how your food is processed, packaged, what chemicals are sprayed on it, where it comes from, unless they're familiar with the product. But have they been to the farm? Probably not. Then on top of them, you have some kind of, assistant manager that manages them, a manager of the grocery store, probably a stocking manager, all of the people involved in transportation. Then not to mention on the back end, there's usually a distribution for most large farms, especially in grocery stores. So there's all of the employees in the distribution. And then finally you get to the farm, where there are also people in distribution, especially in factory farms, right? There's some kind of a farm type distribution that talks to the actual transportation or distributor, unless the farm does the transportation by themselves. And then you can finally trickle to the person that actually touches your food. So how far removed are you away from a personnel perspective? I mean, I don't even know what the number is. Maybe 20 or 30 people. This is crazy. Of course, think about, do you even trust 30 people in that chain? You know what I'm saying? How your food is handled. I don't. You know what I mean? But maybe I should be more optimistic about humanity. It's a time for another podcast. But if you think about it from this perspective, I mean, the amount of money that is involved in just the process by which I described, getting food to your table, of course everyone is trying to take shortcuts along the way, right? They have an economic incentive to take shortcuts along the way. Corporations have an economic they have to benefit their shareholders, right? So they will cut corners in order to, have quarterly earnings that are, net positive. So the CEO doesn't lose money because he has X amount of shares, right? So, and none of that exists here. None of it. None of those 30 people. With Jeff as well. Jeff had a very lucrative career prior to this. So did I. If I wanted to be here for money, I would have quit a long time ago. I probably would have never started, because I made infinitely more money in my previous job. So I think that's kind of a rare thing, right? For people to step away from a lot of money, right? I was on a trading floor at a hedge fund, and I'm not saying this to boost my own ego here. I'm just saying it as a general fact. I stepped away from that in order to do something better for myself, for my friends, for my community, right? So I think I don't know where I was going with that tangent, but
you were going about how the process of food goes through 30 people's hands, and
The disconnection.
You don't trust the process behind it. You can't trust it.
right, there's so much room for human error and greed along the way, and we are just trying to make enough money to make this thing stay. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we talk about actually paying ourselves a livable wage here in a few years, but
And we can argue that those practices that these industrial farmers use have affected our health. In a way, you guys are healing people with your food.
sure, appreciate that.
like you said before, there's a huge disconnect from our food, and what that's allowed these companies to get away with is, like Jake said, cut these corners, but these corners aren't just like, small things. They're adding chemicals, they're adding hormones, steroids, vaccines, things that they're introducing into our food system that never used to be there, in our grandparents' age. And it's why you're kind of seeing this trickle effect of disease and illness slowly start to take over our society. And I truly believe that, there's a lot of illness that can be prevented if you go down the natural route of, food production. So these shortcuts involve poisoning us. And I think some people are actually starting to recognize that. It's why they specifically seeking out farms like ours. But personally, I think it is the biggest problem of our lifetime. And if the majority of people don't wake up to this, then these corporations and this greed will win. And, who knows what happens? Does that mean we have zero access to clean food? Does that mean our life expectancy goes down 20 years? Does that mean our quality of life dissipates and everyone has cancer? And who knows?
That's where we're headed.
It is where we're headed.
That's where we're headed if we don't have more people doing this.
Yeah.
Because then you would think healthy food becomes a luxury, right?
That's what it kind of is right now, right? So we're trying to scale in order to kind of decrease prices, but it's almost impossible, right? You see the true cost of food here in the store, and it is what it is.
It's unfortunate because there's a misconception on what food actually costs. Because when it is mass produced in an unethical way, with these corners that are getting cut, these big companies can charge way less because they can cut corners with labor. They can shove 10,000 chickens into a warehouse and only have one person to monitor them. They have automated systems. So these grocery store prices, what people are accustomed to now, is not the true cost of what it takes to naturally produce food the right way on a small farm. So when customers come here, I hope they understand that the premium in pricing is not just to nickel and dime people. It's that we're working twice as many hours, we're working twice as hard because we're not using these techniques to cut corners. We don't inject our chickens with steroids, so the time that it takes them to grow to their proper size is cut in half. It takes us double the time of a company to grow out our chickens. That means double the food we got to give them, double the labor, and all of these prices sort of add up, and it's this ends up being the true cost of food. And the customers that come here recognize that to achieve this kind of diet, you have to pay the people who are willing to kind of do this for you. And there is unfortunately a premium on that, and I think that is why this is the true cost of healthy food. It's not just this idea of organic is more because people kind of in the ethos say it's more. It's because there's a lot more involved with producing food this way.
I can take that a step further. Large food corporations can also take a loss and then take government subsidies in order to recoup that loss. So your tax dollars will pay for the loss regardless. So the government can suppress the cost of food via subsidies, right? And regardless, you will be paying more because your tax dollars go towards it.
So either which way, any loss, they still get profit.
Yeah, the only difference is with buying our food is that your medical bills later on in life will be less. Yeah.
So let's say to continue that, if there was one restriction in the industry that you could change to,
I would let any small food producer sell to their neighbors unregulated. Meaning, if you want to, bake 50 quiches for a wedding, you should be able to do that. And if you want to produce eggs in your backyard and sell them to your neighbors, there should be no government intervention on this. I don't think this is a free society if you cannot sell your neighbors eggs.
100%. I agree. Like, what do we do it? That's
Yeah, no. See, think about it. Think about it. Like a grandma wants to sell her soup to the church and can't without the government coming and telling her you need a fucking special kitchen to do so. Even though the people at the church want to buy the soup.
Or you have to need an LLC to be.
But yes, this is an insane world where we have to pay a fee to get a grandma's soup LLC, and you need an inspector to come and look at her kitchen, and she needs to set up a $5,000 commercial facility in order to sell her church group soup. That's where we're at in the United States, and it's disgusting.
And the regulations placed on certain products, like raw milk, is still illegal in this country. For thousands of years, humans have been drinking raw milk, and now it is an illegal process. So we have to tell people and label our product, our raw milk product, as not for human consumption, as the only legal way to sell this to an individual. So how is the government able to come in and stop these things? That personally, raw milk almost healed me completely. I used to be lactose intolerant. I couldn't handle milk. When I switched my diet to an Amish diet, where they're like, raw milk is the staple of their diet, my health started to improve tenfold. So what's going on where, like, these things, if they're done properly, are super healthy and beneficial for our bodies, but the government can say it's illegal?
You know, B just came in. She picked up raw milk and gut health. She had all kinds of gut issues. I just saw her 2 days ago, and she said completely fixed my gut. A half a gallon of raw milk and some herbs. You know, I'm not a, oh, sorry. I'm not, do you want me to re-say that?
Yeah, re-say that, please.
You remember, this is so weird to do. You remember B? She had some, sorry, you remember B? She had some gut issues, and she came in and bought a half a gallon of raw milk and that herbal gut health tea, and she said it completely fixed her gut in a week. Now, look, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I don't know the ins and outs of... We're hearing it all the time from our customers, So it's hard for me to, I don't know, read some kind of a laboratory study about whatever is going on in all of these commercial food groups and saying it's not bad for you when you just, like, nature has it figured out. I say this all the time. And why we try and stray away from that or even inject any kind of humanness into it, I think is a waste of our time. We should simply sit back and observe nature and see how it goes. And I think the more you do this and the more that you consume in the true sense of the word natural way, then the better off we will all be. I mean, I don't know a doctor, I don't go to the doctor, but I only eat food from the farm, right? 99% of my food is straight from the store. So, and same with Jeff. Jeff eats cleaner than I do. Jeff's on another planet when it comes to, I thought I was good until I met him. So, yeah. I urge people to stop putting full trust in the system, the government, the doctors, and like, I have so many customers that come in here and give me such a weird look when I say I have raw milk. Like, there's this taboo sort of feeling that you're gonna get sick from drinking raw milk. But what I urge people to do is, like, go learn the history of where pasteurization came from. If you go do that, I could say it right now, but go do some of these thought processes and these research on your own, and then you start to, like, put these puzzle pieces together that it's like, this wasn't designed as like this holy grail of like saving culture. It was like these shortcuts that got put into place. You know, there's a lot of things that happened after the war for profit, and for like when people started migrating to big cities, they had to change their food structure. Like, you know, the food was always done forever, like in small communities. And when you have millions and millions of people move from the rural America to a city, the food system, the structure doesn't work the same, and like systems have to be changed, and like people started to get unhealthy because of that. So I'm not going to say like cities are evil, but like there's inherently a like negativity that comes from bunching people together like that wasn't the case when there were smaller communities of people in rural areas of the country. And then you could also like source food from your neighbors. You know, you could have just a local town. You know, you have a butcher, you have a baker, you have a small farmer of produce and eggs. And like you used to like, you know, before after the war, before there was grocery stores, like people produced most of their food in their backyard. And then they would like go to their local butcher who they trusted, and like they would get some extra stuff they couldn't do on their own. And like it was just a small commune, a community of people like helping each other out to source their food. The problem is,
To a grocery store, and you have products from all over.
Yep.
Your local grocery store.
but yeah, I have two things to add there. The issue with locally produced food, and like Jeff was saying, a lot of people were like on a barter system, right? Like if somebody raised chickens for eggs and somebody had, I don't know, cows, then they could trade that, right? But the issue is that the government, the most powerful corporation in the whole world, the federal government, for sure, the American federal government is the most powerful corporation to ever exist ever, can't get their hands on that money, right? So then you start regulating commerce and food and everything, right? In order to get, like, I mean, even with us, I don't know how many fees and permits and all of this nonsense that is a complete waste of time. And the people that come and inspect our farm tell me it's a waste of their time. You know? So with this, like, we're talking about food system, but also the entire system. I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but yeah, the government needs their hand. Like, we need big brother, big sister's hand, and you have to pay the fine, right? This is full-blown mafia, cartel. What do they call it in the favelas? Escargot, something like this. It's a Portuguese word for, like, you have to pay the fine in the favela to get past the cartel, you know? This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. It's not maybe we're doing it. We're doing it, you know? And then we call ourselves free people.
Trusting it. We think it's the right thing. We need to trust these people.
Yeah.
But they really, like, they don't have our interest in play here. There's other interests and factors that are going on, but the first step is, like, people need to wake up and realize, like, the government is not your friend when it comes to some of these regulations.
What's the
rules.
Is it the Reagan quote where he said the worst thing you can hear is, "Hi, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help."
There's a reason that's famous. It's true.
So what do you think? What is the future holding if we continue these practices for like another 50 years? Do you think you guys will like influence other people to step up and try to start their own farms and whatnot?
We're trying to. Jeff originally came because he wanted to do his own thing. So then I just said, here are all the resources. Come and hang out. I can teach you everything I know. I was broke at the time, so I didn't have any money to pay him, but he showed up anyway, like a crazy man. But yeah, I think there's more than enough demand for clean food for people to start it. And look, we figured it out in Palm Beach County. I would love for more people to figure it out in Palm Beach County. The ag developer for the county told me it's almost impossible to start a small farm in Palm Beach County for the issues that we discussed earlier. But it would be awesome. Just figure it out, you know. We'd love to partner with other small farms and all sell each other's goods and come together and all produce clean food, and hopefully our little farm inspires some people to go off and do it by themselves, or start your own little small business with clean food and give us a call and we'll try and sell it out of our store.
If you truly want to do it, like I said, I have a lot of customers and people say, like, oh, my dream is to start a regenerative farm, or I want to be a farmer. Like, if you actually want to do that, the first step is doing the research to find the pioneers in this space.
Yeah.
You know, something that was so cool was, like, there's a few people who've been doing this for decades now that are starting to, like, be transparent about their practices and, like, give out that information. Jake and I both have gone up to White Oaks Pastures and we have a good relationship with them. Mr. Will Harris has, like, done amazing things for, like, the regenerative cattle community. And he's just willing to give his time, his energy, his resources to, like, teach people. You know, Jake went to
Polyface.
a polyface farm in Virginia to learn about
Joel
chickens
Salatin's.
from Joel Salatin. We plan on taking a trip to Kentucky and seeing Greg Judy, a pioneer in ruminants and sheep. But, like, there are people out there who, like, really know how to do this, and they're trying to pass this information out. And, you know, you just need to have the drive, the energy, and the will to, like, learn from these people, and you can bring it to anywhere in the country, you know?
Do you feel like as time is progressing, more people are jumping on the bandwagon, or the government and these corporations are just making it harder for people like you to exist?
I think what happens is they hijack it all. So now you can get pasture-raised eggs, and we all know what happened with Vital Farms. So you can get all of these regenerative, clean foods in grocery stores, but just like they hacked the word natural, they hacked the word organic, They hacked the word grass-fed, grass-finished can now mean that they are inside and fed hay their entire lives, but they never see the outside. That's grass-fed, grass-finished, by the way, and you're paying a premium for that in Sprouts and Whole Foods.
Wow.
So where does it end, right? So now there's regenerative stamps, right? So the whole issue with labeling, and I think Joel's team coined something called Beyond Labels, where he just doesn't use any labels. You just come to the farm and look for yourself. Do your own research. See what are the cleanest practices, and we can go back and forth about it. I'm here every day. We can talk about it. I talk to customers all the time about it. And you can make the decision for yourself. But yeah, that's all I've really got.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate you, Jake and Jeff.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Alrighty.